For current and exclusive content, subscribe to CDE Lightband, connecting you at the speed of light.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Clarksville's Political Forum, brought to you by Leadership Clarksville and your Clarksville Area Chamber of Commerce. I'm Van Stokes, your moderator for today's session. Once again, today's forum is coming to you from Customs House Museum and Cultural Center here in Clarksville. As always, this forum is intended to give you, the voters, an informed choice when you go to the polls to vote in the state primary and Montgomery County general election on Thursday, August the 4th. In this session today, we will have the opportunity to meet and talk with the candidates who will be on that ballot for the Montgomery County Commission representing District Number 4. They are, to my left, Mr. Ricky Ray and Mr. Ascension Lopez. We will begin this session with each candidate having 2 minutes in which to present opening comments. Now, following this segment, we will then turn to our panelists for questions. Joining us once again as panelists, to my right, they are Mr. Chris Smith, Mr. Jay Albertia, and Mr. Jimmy Settle. Now, each candidate will be given 1 minute to respond to each question from our panelists, with the first response coming in a rotating order from our candidates. At the conclusion of the questioning, each candidate will then have 2 minutes in which to present closing statements. Our timekeeper for this session is Mr. Phil Harpel. County commissioners for the Montgomery County Commission are voted into office on 4-year terms and are elected by voters in their respective districts. As I said, this is District Number 4. Now, the County Commission meets twice monthly to discuss and vote on a variety of resolutions. They include county government policies, county budget, school system budget, and property tax rates. Our county commissioners serve on various committees which are devoted to specific departments on a wide range of subject areas, from the county jail to animal control. Now let's go to our candidates for opening comments. We will hear first from Mr. Ricky Ray.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here to answer any questions you have. It's been an honor to serve District 4 for the last 3.5 years. I look forward to being reelected to serve the people in District 4 again, and also to realign the districts, and I will be more in the city limits this time, around the 5 Point area, Greenwood, back through Kingsbury, Southern Hills, and Greenland Farms. But it's been an honor to serve the people. I try to answer their questions and get them answers. If I don't have the answer, I tell them I will do some research and I will get them an answer, and I always reply back to all emails and phone calls when I'm talking to constituents in my area. I appreciate your vote, and thank you for having me here.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll hear opening comments from Mr. Ascension Lopez.
Hey, y'all. My name is Ascension Big Sarge Lopez. Y'all can call me Sarge if you want, though. I am a God-fearing, American-born military veteran of 3 wars. I've been living in Montgomery County for 8 years. I love this place. I love this place with the bottom of my heart. Just like 31% of military retirees out of Fort Campbell decided they wanted to stay here. Even though I love Montgomery County, I know we have some problems. And I see right now that not a lot of people want to face those problems. So I want to try to usher in a new era of politics that holds the county employees, to include us elected officials, accountable for their actions, or most importantly, their inactions. I want to lessen the financial burden on the taxpayers and small businesses. I want smart growth without consolidation, address education, the financial needs of our students and our teachers. And we need to be fiscally responsible, because right now times are hard. Times are real hard, and people are having a hard time paying bills. Government does not need to be in the way of that. So on August the 4th, Big Sarge would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now let's turn to our panelists who have a number of questions for our candidates. Let's begin with Mr. Chris Smith. Your question will be responded to first by Mr. Ricky Ray.
All right. Mr. Ray, funding for county government agencies has been a major concern for many years. In your opinion, are there any county departments that are not being adequately funded, and what could be done to address those issues?
I think animal control is one department that we need to look at strongly. We need a new building because it's overcrowded. I know there's something in the budget. We vote on that tonight. But I think animal control and our sheriff's department, we're short deputies. With everything going on in this world now, we need to make sure our safety is our first priority with our students in the schools and the community.
Mr. Lopez.
Amen. I 100% agree with Ricky here. It's animal control. They do a fabulous, wonderful job. There's just one problem they have. They're too modest. Don't never ask for enough money. They get a lot of civilian donations, and a lot of corporations don't donate to them in cares of food and stuff. But so they try to offset that, but they have outgrown their spot, so they need a bigger place. Sheriff's Department. Geez, gosh, I love the Sheriff's Department, but we need some SROs in our school. We need some sheriff departments in our school. We need some people to lessen the burden on the security and of the school. So it's I think those are two areas that need more funding, if you will.
Thank you very much. Let's go to Mr. J. Albertia. Your question, Mr. Albertia, will go to Mr. Lopez for the first response.
Mr. Lopez, we know the district's changed a little bit in its path and where it is on the map. What do you think is the specific issue that is facing your district, and how do you propose to address that?
Ooh, this might take longer than 2 minutes or 1 minute to answer, but I'll try to make it quick. First of all, the path to education is very, very hard for the people across the river in the city. It's limits. God bless Norman Smith Elementary. It's a great school. I love it. The teachers really, really, really give a dang about their students, but they just don't have enough resources. We need to give them resources so when they go across the river to Montgomery Central Middle School and to Montgomery Central High School, we're not losing them somewhere in the past. And we're not just sending them to alternative school just to solve some issues and stuff. So education is very important because it's not enough people are graduating, learning how to read and write. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ray.
I think with the realignment, you're going to see a lot of new faces that we're going to have to get out and meet and talk to, see what their concerns are, what they think they need. I know over the 5 Point Greenwood area, the roads are small. The traffic and in education, a lot of them from that area go to Montgomery Central Middle School and the high school. And the middle school is at 85 to 90% capacity. The high school's at about 80% capacity. Both elementary schools on the south end of the river are about 80% of the capacity. And I think we need to see what the needs of the people are in each district and have comments and then try to address that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Let's go to Mr. Jimmy Settle now for the next question, and the first response will come from Mr. Ray.
Mr. Ray, we talk sometimes in local government about quality of life and what the role is of county government and city government, for that matter, is in terms of providing quality of life amenities. What is a quality of life issue that you feel Montgomery County could do a better job of providing for the citizens?
I think our younger generation, we need to go back the way it was when I was growing up, like summer programs for our children, like recreation leagues. They would go out, play ball against other communities, and have more for our younger generation to do to help them have a better quality of life and go out and meet other people and enjoy that.
Mr. Lopez?
So that's a great question because me and several of my Republican candidates for county commissioner have actually discussed that. Otto Simmons came up with Outstanding idea. If you follow her in her Facebook page, me and George Prado have talked about this for a number of hours. It is that we need to have something and support the county children, have something to do to keep them from going into it's a drug and criminal pipeline. There's no secret. A lot of the methamphetamines, a lot of the drugs are being made out in the county, and they are being sold in the city, and they are being sold by children. We need to stop that, and we stop that by making recreational activities available for all kids in Montgomery County. Thank you.
Thank you. If you've just joined us, you are watching Clarksville's Political Forum, brought to you by Leadership Clarksville and the Clarksville Area Chamber of Commerce. We are meeting with candidates who will be on the ballot representing District Number 4 on the Montgomery County Commission. Let's go back to our panelists now. Chris Smith, you have the next question. It goes to Mr. Lopez.
Mr. Lopez, proposals for generating additional revenue for the county, for schools in particular, have included the usual property tax increase idea, but also an increase in the adequate facilities tax or the implementation of a transfer fee for real estate transfers. In your opinion, which, if any, of these is a good solution for generating additional revenue for schools and other county needs?
I don't know if you remember my first opening statement comments. None. We are done with taxes. We have taxed the Montgomery family to the max. There are people, there are churches right now feeding Montgomery County families because our local government has overtaxed and overburdened the citizen. That is a darn shame. So, first of all, I will vote no in any new taxes that come along. We just cannot afford it. The family cannot afford it. No more wheel tax for some legacy arena. No more any other small business tax, any other tax like that. We are done. We're maxed out. And the people of Montgomery County, the voters of Montgomery County have spoken, have told me we are done paying taxes. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ricky Ray.
Chris, the question you asked about the impact tax on building, to me, that would bring more money in from the contractors and could slow building down. Because back, if you remember years ago, Cheatham County brought an income impact tax in, and it slowed building down because Pleasant View was growing so fast like Clarksville, Montgomery County is. If they increase that, I believe it's 500 now, and they want to raise it up to a certain amount. They really hadn't discussed it fully. But that would go toward the home builders, not the property owners. But we all know the home builder is going to pass it on to the person that buys the house if we increase that. But I think that would probably help the growth when you start doing that toward new houses and development. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. J. Albertia, you have the next question. It goes to Mr. Ray.
Mr. Ray, as you know, we continue to grow in our county exponentially. One of the big issues that we deal with is school growth and school population. What is your stance on building new schools versus expanding current schools? And can you explain your answer?
When we voted on the Kirkwood project, I addressed to the mayor that we need to look at these designs. I think we need to build them bigger at the first time instead of 2 years later putting portables outside of them. We need to go up and still have room to go up or out if we go to 2 stories like we're doing at Kirkwood. But I think we need to look at the designs. That way we build a school big enough the first time, and we're not putting portables, and we're not looking for land to build another school. I think right now the school system, and we need to be looking at land now. Clarksville, Montgomery County is growing so fast, we can't build houses fast enough and schools big fast enough that we need to be looking for land now, or it's going to get to the point we're not going to be able to build a complex with 3 schools on it. We're not going to be able to find that a large amount of land to do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lopez?
I agree with Ricky Ray and the sentiments of Commissioner Joe Smith and former Commissioner Jason Knight, who have brought this idea years ago that why are we buying land big plots of land and not building up like any modern city. I know everyone thinks Clarksville is a small city. We ain't small no more. We're a medium-sized city. We have a small town mentality, but Clarksville needs to grow up. It's literally up vertically, and Ricky Ray's right. It's God made dirt, and there ain't no more dirt to be made. So we got to get it, and we got to get it now. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jimmy Settle, you have the next question, and it will go to Mr. Lopez.
Mr. Lopez, a lot of folks in District 4 might be interested in knowing how you propose to stay connected with the residents of your district and hear what they have to say, hear what their concerns are. What are some of the methods that you have in the works of staying connected with your folks?
In the works, it's already been done. When I was collecting signatures for my campaign, I went around and a lot of people that signed my candidate package said, "You're the first politician we ever met." It's a funny, quick funny story. I'm going to try to squeeze this in as best as I can. Is an older lady, I believe her name was Mrs. Smith, said she had gone to Norman Smith Elementary in the 60s. I was the second politician she ever met. The first one was in 68 or something like that. So I'm already out there connecting with the people. I'm already out there writing papers. Concerning issues in my district. So the people in my district know you got a problem, go to Big Sarge. Big Sarge is going to help you out. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ricky Ray.
Like I said earlier, if one of the constituents call me or email me, I answer them. If I don't have an answer right then, I do research and I get back with them or I go see them. As far as connecting with the people, if there is something going on in our district, I try to be there. Like they've changed the district this year. They had something over at Caldwell Lane the city police department did for the kids. I went over there to meet people and see what they needed in that area. I go to functions. I'm a member of Civitan at Central. We do stuff for the community. I meet a lot of people there. I get out, I talk to people. If people's got a question, I'll answer them, and I try to take care of what their needs are. I don't have a problem going to building codes or anything if they got a problem with something going on in their neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. We've got time for one more question. I know, Mr. Jimmy Settle, you had the previous question, but we're going to come back to you because I know you have an additional question that you would like to ask our candidates.
Okay, we hear, and this is directed to...
That's going to go to Mr. Ricky Ray.
Mr. Ray. Okay, Mr. Ray, we hear the common theme of needing infrastructure to manage growth, but there's a tipping point in that, and that is keeping taxes affordable and keeping constituents happy. How do you achieve that balance? I mean, what's the best way that you know of to achieve that balance?
That's a good question. But a lot of the concern with the roads that we have a lot of traffic problems on are state routes. They're not the county roads out in the county. They're state routes. And we've got to get the state involved to do some improvement. It's just like 374. We know that if they ever finish it coming across to the south end of the county, that's going to relieve traffic off of Fort Campbell Boulevard, New Providence Hill, Riverside Drive. But also it's going to impact Palmyra area, because we know what's going to happen. It's going to start being building out there, and it's going to grow. But I think a lot of our problem with infrastructure is our state routes, and we need to get the state involved, get with our state representatives, and see what we can do about getting roads widened and better for traffic. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lopez, your response.
I've said it in the Kilbrew development when I went up to the county commission and spoke against it. The best way to relieve the burden on the taxpayer is for people to start paying their share, and that goes to developers. Developers have to start paying their share. It's the reason I was upset with the Kilbrew development, because we're paying for most of the roads, we're paying for most of the infrastructure, the electricity, the water, the sewer, just to go ahead and 10 years later give it back to the city. So all the people living out in the county with family farms and everything like that, we're paying the taxes for those infrastructures to be in there just so 10 years later, whenever they finish their development, if they ever finish their development, we'll go back to the city, and then the city people are going to have to pay for it. I didn't think that was fair. I spoke up against that, and the hundreds of people that were there supported me when I did say that let's get the developers to start paying their fair share. Because one of the biggest things the Killebrew development people said was, at least we're putting in sidewalks. Hello, that's federal law. You're supposed to be doing that in the first place. Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for answering those questions from our panelists. We will now go to our closing comments, which will be presented in a reverse order from the opening comments. We will hear first from Mr. Ascension Lopez.
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for giving me this opportunity and to retort on Ricky Ray. He always did answer my phone calls and emails, so I can't fault him on that. What did upset me is that the people of Montgomery County, they kind of have a little bit of short-term memory. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The county commissioner or the county commission did a terrible job during COVID. The mask mandates were terrible. We now know those were lies. The closing of churches, taking away my ability to worship my God the way I want to. That was unconstitutional, and the judge today just said that. It was unconstitutional. And the reason I am here today, the only reason that I am going against Ricky Ray for this was because I was so upset when the county commission weaponized the sheriff's department against parents and students when they were doing their First Amendment right and objecting to mask mandates. That was wrong, and that is the single incident that got me to give me enough courage to go ahead and stand up and fight for the people of District 4. The other things is the loss of family farms and the loss of natural habitat and the increase of development. I want to really try to do that. I've been fighting for over 2 years for the people of Clarksville and Montgomery County. I've written many articles in the newspaper. I've many articles online to do that. So for these last 2 years, I've been fighting for the people of Montgomery County, and I would appreciate your vote so I can fight for you for 4 more years. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now we'll hear closing comments from Mr. Ricky Ray.
Thank you for having me here today and putting this presentation on. It's been an honor to serve the constituents of District 4 for the last 3.5 years. I look forward, hopefully doing it for the next 4 years so we can try to improve our education, our roads, and things like that, and what county agencies need help, try to get them help if the money is available. As far as taxes, our tax rate hadn't changed in 3 years. It went from $304 to $299, and it will stay that again this year for the following year, and then the state will be in next year, the year after, and they will reevaluate our property. The only thing the county commission votes on is the tax rate. We do not tell people what the value of the property is. The state does that. The county commission doesn't. All we do is vote on the tax rate. And I appreciate your vote. Thank you for having me here, and have a good evening. Thank you.
And I want to say thank you to each of our candidates, Mr. Ricky Ray, Mr. Ascension Lopez. Thank you for being with us today, sharing your thoughts and ideas, and for being willing to serve our community by being on the ballot for the Montgomery County Commission to represent District Number 4. Remember, early voting for the state primary and Montgomery County general election will take place July the 15th through July the 30th. Now, the location will be at the Election Commission office at 350 Pageant Lane, or if you choose, you can cast your early vote at Outlaw Field. Once again, Election Day is on Thursday, August the 4th. Thanks to our panelists once again, Mr. Chris Smith, Mr. Jay Albertia, and Mr. Jimmy Settle. Thank you for your insightful questions today, gentlemen, and also thanks to Mr. Phil Harpel for serving as our timekeeper today. And a big thank you to the staff at the Customs House Museum and Cultural Center for hosting today's forum. And also thank you to Leadership Clarksville and the Clarksville Area Chamber of Commerce and to Rick Goodwin Productions for making this forum possible. Until next time, I'm Van Stokes. Thank you for watching.
You're watching Clarksville Community Network. Produced by Goodwin Productions. Powered by CDE Lightband.